Hello, Sandra. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Will you be using clicker?
Yes,
The clicker is there, on the table there.
I'm doing my steps.
The stage is quite big, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Wow. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna do something that's probably gonna chop your language, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Cześć. Sorry. Sorry for butchering, but I'm trying. So hello. My name is Sandra, and these spotlights are really bright, and whenever I'm on stage, I don't know what to do with my hands, and it feels like I have extra limbs all of a sudden. And I'm really, really privileged to be in front of you, but also super nervous, because this is a huge event, and there's amazing speakers that spoken before me and after me, and it's a big deal. And I really hope I rise to your expectations. I'm here to talk about myself a bit, about life, and how I got from doing POSMs in a small agency, BTL agency in Romania, to bringing mammoths back to the plate, basically, not life. And it's also going to be a bit of a group therapy session, because I'm going to talk about lessons and what happened to me and how I discovered things about myself, advertising the world, and everything. So I really hope you're going to enjoy it. And before saying that I'm from VML Amsterdam, I want to say that I am from Romania, from this town called Pitești. So it's very important, because this is the whole context we kind of have together, and we're sharing a lot of, not necessarily DNA, but visual references and understanding, and we're going to see later trauma. But yeah, that's Romania. They're in Eastern Europe, and this is Pitești, which is not the capital of Romania. And it kind of looks a bit like this. So a lot of Soviet buildings and things you might recognize also. And basically what I'm trying to do, and what I did with this presentation, and thank you for offering me this possibility, because it was a bit of introspection, is trying to figure out how the hell did I manage to get from that small town in Eastern Europe to being the Chief Creative Officer of VML Amsterdam. I still don't know how, but I'm trying to get there and explain you a bit. Before going to where it is, I'm going to tell you a bit how I thought it will feel. So I thought if you have a huge title like Chief Creative Officer, and I thought if you work for a very big international agency, and I thought if you work in a place outside, I don't know, Pitești, you're going to feel very empowered, and you're going to have it all figured out, and you're going to own the room, own the conversation, and be this super important person, but not only how you're perceived, but how you're going to feel inside. So basically, I thought I'm going to feel at least like David Ogilvy over there. Actually, this is how I thought I'm going to feel. Just, you know, spread around and mansplaining things to people in the room. But actually, this is how I feel still. That's a real photo of me when I was, I don't know, around 3. I don't know why my parents put me on the furniture. I still didn't know what to do with my hands. I was as awkward in that photo as I'm awkward here on the stage, like not completely owning everything, but smiling and trying to be there for the occasion. So deep inside, I still feel like that awkward kid over there. It's not exactly how I expected having a big role in a big agency to feel. Uh, so I'm just sharing all of this with you. I told you it's going to be group therapy because you you might come with the same preconceptions into the world, and those preconceptions might stop you in your tracks sometimes, as they tend to stop me sometimes, and it's really important that they don't. Also, absolutely every day of my life, I live with this feeling, oh my God, they'll find out I'm a fraud. I'm carrying a huge, huge imposter syndrome with me through the world all the time. I feel like they're gonna discover that I'm not what they think I am, that they're gonna fire me, that I had a good run, but that's it. And of course, this comes from many, many different things. Some of them are the way I was educated, the society around me, the fact that there was zero emotional intelligence when I was growing up, and all of that. So I'm just carrying this luggage with me into the world, and you know, that comes with good things and that comes with bad things. And the good things that brought is that brought a lot of grit and determination. But it's actually trauma. But it's grit and determination, so that's good because it brought me here. And a shitload of luck on the way, of course, brought me here on this purple nice stage. But it's also a lot of things that I kind of took as bad and tried to prove them wrong. And I'm gonna tell you a bit about the t-shirt theory, because I'm lucky enough to have conversations with smart people, and one of them is a coach, and that coach told me about the t-shirt theory. So the t-shirt theory is something like this. We are all carrying a t-shirt for such a long time with us that we even forgot it's there. And the t-shirt has a slogan on it. And that slogan is something, it's a belief that we kind of took from somewhere. We put it on the t-shirt, something like just do it, or impossible is nothing, but you know, for our own life, and usually kind of bad. And we just carry it with us all the time. And even though we don't think about it, it's there, part of our strong inner belief system. And this coach told me a bit about her line on the t-shirt, just to make me understand the context so I can come up with my own. And her line on the t-shirt was, because she was coming from a very intellectual family of university professors, it was something that she can never be anything less than exceptional, and she's not allowed to ever fail or reach a high standard or nothing. So she was carrying this with her for her whole life until she acknowledged it. And then she said, "What's written on your t-shirt?" And man, did I have a small meltdown when I found out. Because I started thinking about it, and the first thing that popped into my mind was that I'm never going to be good enough because I'm a girl. And then it struck me, and I was like, what the fuck? Am I like, is this in my brain? And it was, because I kind of mapped it on why am I believing that. And it was a conversation not one, but many I had with my dad. And God bless him, he's not to blame because he always believed in me and thought I'm going to do a lot of great things. But he, I think, didn't believe in the society I was growing up in, and he didn't believe that women or girls necessarily can make it on their own in that context. So he embedded that in me by just trying to, I don't know, solve things for me and telling me, nah, you cannot do that, I'm going to fix it for you, you'll never get there, and stuff like that. So growing up, I thought I'm never going to be good enough because I'm a girl. And I kind of took that, and because I'm quite annoying sometimes for some people, I just wanted to prove everybody wrong the whole time. So I took that and tried to prove the opposite, and that turns into grit and determination, but it always ate me alive while going. So yeah, with grit, determination, my anger, and a lot of luck, I roam the earth. But I'm realizing that that's an important theory to share, and I would love you if you can think about your own t-shirt, if you can take a moment and see what's written there and face it. And I was thinking you can even say it out loud if you want. I was thinking maybe I can see hands being raised if they want to share it, but I have no visibility in the room. But if you do want to share, would be great. If not, because it's something quite intimate, you can just think about it at home. So I'm just going to leave a second in case somebody feels the need to share, but if not, I'm just going to carry on. No, yes, no, no. No, I don't think so. Okay, so I would really love you to do this exercise because it's quite disturbing, but it's quite cool. So, growing up in Romania, you tend to see a lot of problems because there are a lot of problems. So there's a lot of, I don't know, corruption, there's a lot of ugliness in this urbanistic plan. There's a lot of uneducated people in the sense of uneducated in the Western way. A lot of closed-hearted, a lot of closed-minded, a lot of poverty, a lot of everything that comes after having a totalitarist regime that put a lot of pressure on people until 30 years ago. So you tend to see problems everywhere. But that's not how I want to live my life, and that's not how I am as a person. I'm a very optimistic, positive, and I like to think fun person. So then I thought to myself, well, there's not problems because problems are just opportunities in ugly clothing. And if you just rephrase that a bit, instead of just seeing problems everywhere, you see opportunities everywhere. So that kind of gives you a sense of hope and the sense of I can conquer a lot of things because all of this is an opportunity for me to do better and make other other cool stuff on top of it, and also maybe make myself a bit famous at the back of it. That needs a bit of help. You cannot just tune your brain in that direction and hope it will stay on that bandwidth forever, because it's really easy to leave the lane because people are pulling at you and problems can pull at you and show that they're actual problems. So then I'm having this quote as a reminder of joy and play. This is how one of the Winnie the Pooh books ends, and it says, "Wherever they go and whatever happens to them on the way, in the enchanted place on the top of the forest, a little boy and his bear will always be playing." And it's about that play and that joyfulness we get when we grow up, because that's what people are all about in the end. It's all about having fun, finding that joy, and playing around. So I was like, play is important, joy is important. Thinking about play and joy will always help me reframe problems as opportunities. Good. And then advertising, I chose advertising as a field where I can express all of that, because it was the field with the most opportunities to express all of that, to take something bad, turn it into something good, have a bit of fun, and so on. And it's really important to do that, because when you think about some issues or some problems, they can seem like shadows in a shadow puppet. I don't think I have a shadow here necessarily, but it's they can be small, but because they're shadows and you don't look at them directly, they can seem very scary, they can be big, and that takes away the joy. But advertising can help us unmask them and can help us look at them and not be shadows. And the same like in Scooby-Doo, you see that and there weren't like a super scary monster or ghost, there were always something smaller behind that. And I was like, okay, let's do that. I have the field, I have the tools, I have the mindset, but then I entered advertising, and the briefs were this. These were my briefs in my first agency. It's like how to do an umbrella, how to brand, I don't know, a stand, write a promoter speech, super activation in the Carrefour supermarket. I was just, oh my fucking God, how am I ever gonna leave this place and win in Cannes when this is my brief? And then I discovered, also through the power of play and through our Lord and Savior Friends TV show, a way of playing around, which is this.
Giving me cups? And ice? Cups and ice? Oh, I get to be in charge of cups and ice? All right. Fine, okay, I will be in charge of cups and ice.
Wait a minute, I can get ice at the restaurant.
I got it mine! Hey, check it out. Cup hat, cup banner, cup chandelier, and the thing that started it all, the cup.
Great job with the cups, Phoebes.
Why don't you just go out with her?
And did you notice the ice? Look, we have it all. We have crushed, cubed, and dry. Watch. Ah. Mystical.
Oh.
I don't want. No one's eating my Tuscan finger food because they're all filling up on Phoebe's snow cones.
There are snow cones? Snow cones?
So basically, when life gives you cups and ice, you go all in on cups and ice. And I did that. I'm not going to show you because even if it's cups, banners, and ice cones, it's still quite a bit boring at the beginning. But I will show you a bit of how I did it later. So the next 3 case studies that I'm going to show are from not the BTL agency I used to work with, but from McCann, Romania, which is my first more serious agency that I worked in. Still, I wasn't in McCann, I was in MRM McCann that had, I think, 10 or 11 employees in total, including client service and everything. And we were just getting the briefs that McCann Romania rejected or didn't feel like doing or didn't have time. So the first case study you're going to see, it's going to be one of those where they were doing the whole big campaigns on KFC, and we were supposed to do the digital activation or the digital part because we were MRM. So the digital part back then, it was almost 10 years ago, I think, wasn't such a big deal because digital wasn't such a big deal. Everybody wanted to be on TV. And then we said, okay, let's see if it is a big deal. Let's do cups and ice here. So we did this.
Don't let money change ya.
KFC launched their cheapest full meal ever for less than €3 and decided to prove that you can have lots of fun without having lots of money. And for that reason, they decided to troll the ones who have the most.
The rich kids of Instagram. Basically, it's these kids that are just super duper rich, and they're kids. It's just embarrassing to look at these kids. It's embarrassing and they don't know it.
We introduced Little Money Big Fun, the affordable alternative to those rich kids of Instagram. Enter the campaign site and choose a photo from the Rich Kids of Instagram hashtag. Make your own version of the photo and upload it on our online generator. The merged photos will be published in the gallery, Tumblr page, and shared all over KFC's social media. Within a week, hundreds of not-so-rich kids created a trending topic.
It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need your money, money, money. We just want to make the world dance. Forget about the price tag. Ain't about the cha-ching, cha-ching. Ain't about the, yeah, ba-bling, ba-bling. Want to make the world dance. Forget about the price tag. Okay.
And the rich kids replied, in their own way.
She says, I don't think I should be judged for posting a photo like eating caviar at Claridge's in London, while it's okay for someone to post a picture at McDonald's.
Thank you very much. I still love KFC to this day for giving me opportunities to do shit like that. And another thing is very worth mentioning is that the fact that we were considered to be, and I think we're still considered to be the butt of Europe in a country like Romania, just allowed us to do that on official Twitter and official pages that would never be allowed. We used people's photos and we reshared them and we went like this around it and nobody cared. Some rich kids were annoyed for a bit, but nobody actually paid attention. You would never be able to do that campaign in London or in Amsterdam or in the States or anywhere else. But because you have this underdog country, you need to take advantage of the underdog country and just do braver stuff because nobody cares. And it can be rewarded in festivals. We did not win in Cannes with this one. It got shortlisted, but it did win gold in Eurobest and Grand Prix in other shows. So it was quite a good campaign. The next one, and I'm going to be hurrying up a bit because I see the time is ticking. It's not as joyful, but it's joyful in the fact that it's ironic because you use a medium that's not usually used for this kind of subjects.
The World Economic Forum has released its annual Global Gender Gap Report, which ranks Romania among the most unequal countries in Europe. While the data shows a bitter reality, most Romanians still think
Nu cred că există acest plafon. Consider că există un echilibru.
Following Women's Day, Paul, a bakery cafe chain, decided to take the report numbers and talk about them over a cake. Bittersweet Pies is a new product line that shows the updated gender gap data by turning pie charts into real pies. The collection includes the salary gap cake, the misrepresentation pie, the top wealthiest, and the glass ceiling tarts, two tarts that reveals the scarcity of women in senior management. Cakes are 100% edible. The more you eat them, the more you help to fight inequality, as 5% of all income is donated to Filia, a non-profit organisation that conducts diversity projects across the country. Online, Paul invited users to make their own custom cake based on data from 145 countries. The campaign started with billboards located next to places where change is needed. And our written press release was baked, targeted, and showed specific reporters the gap status in their own area of coverage.
Torturi pe care sunt ilustrate grafic diferențele de gen.
Ia uzi că din bogați 24 suntem bărbați și o singură femeie.
Nu putem nega că diferențele de gen încă există.
And again, this is something we couldn't have done if it wasn't in Romania because Paul Bakery has very strict rules of how you can mess with their cakes or not, and you cannot mess with their cakes. And Paul and KFC are part of the same group, the Yum group. And the client, we had really good relationships with her, and she just lied to her bosses and said they're only going to be billboards and not actual cakes. And then she gave us a green light to do this, and then we just did it. So again, just take advantage of the cups and the ice, and do it as much as you can because it's really cool to have the opportunity. I'm gonna skip the next video because we're out of time. I promise I have 3 more and 2 minutes left. So I'm gonna skip one, and then I'm just gonna tell you that basically, it's not what it is. It's basically what you make of it. So whatever the situation is that life throws at you or you step into just because you're curious, it's not exactly what it is. It's always what you want to make of it. And with that mentality, I left Romania. I was lucky enough to be offered the possibility to leave Romania. And then I kind of applied that to the places I went. So you're going to see 2 case studies for Heineken, for when I used to work in Milan, and one from VML Amsterdam.
Any team in Europe has a brilliant season. Whoever that team are, however small, however big, they get into that competition.
12 of the world's biggest and wealthiest soccer clubs have announced plans to form a breakaway Super League.
Founder members will be granted between 100 and 350 million euros each just for joining the competition.
Did these big clubs ask to their fans what they thought about this idea? No.
Absolutely disgusted.
If Chelsea go through with this, I'm finished with a football club.
You greedy gits, disgrace!
Heineken jumped on it quickly.
Money and designer for the ass.
So again, it's really cool to see the power of one post on Twitter. I mean, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and all their channels, but it was one post that we replicated. And I do feel it comes from this mentality that Romania taught me to have, which is grab every opportunity ever and try to make something out of it. Again, trauma, to prove myself. It's still there. I'm still working on it. It's not solved. But I'm trying to get the benefit of it. And then, you know, once you do stuff like that, you get bigger and bigger opportunities. So then I got offered to do the Heineken anniversary campaign, which is an incredibly big deal. And this is what came out of it.
You might be aware of netizens bickering over the pronunciation of foreign brand names such as Costco or IKEA.
Carlsberg.
Hyundai.
Wait, how do you spell it?
Heineken, please.
Sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant trop mon whisky quant à moi peut dormir.
Heineken.
Heineken. The green one?
Ah. Bam bam, mon ça se place sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant trop mon whisky quant à moi peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir.
So Heine becomes a Heine.
Bello Heineken, c'est Virginia.
La L, a Henny.
Loro nome e la lingua italiana.
Comme un indien dans son igloo, ça plane pour moi, ça plane pour moi, ça plane pour moi, moi, ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi.
E a rapaziada só curtindo aquela Heineken. Que isso, velho? Heineken!
Comblé. You are the king of the divan. Qu'elle me dit en passant.
Steve Buscemi, Blue Dragons, Kevin Costner.
Hakkinen?
Yes.
One last case, and I promise I'm gonna let you have your coffee. And then I got to do bigger, humongous things, which is bringing back a mammoth from death to plate, basically. You're gonna see in a second what it means. And it's not as funny and fun as Heineken in the uplifting way, but for me it's still hilarious because what we did is to raise awareness about cultured meat and the fact that that's a viable solution to just killing animals and eating them and killing them and eating them because it's kind of destroying our world. We said, let's bring an animal back that didn't exist for a very long time just to prove that you can do anything with cultured meat and you grow it in the lab and it's okay. So we decided to bring back the mammoth, only to grow the meat and turn it into a meatball. And here is the case study.
Sometimes come across a story about meat that is so important, so dare I say, juicy, that we give that story its own meanwhile subsegment, Meatwhile.
If you've ever said you're so hungry you could eat a woolly mammoth, well, you might be in luck.
A startup in Australia has revealed a meatball
of prehistoric proportions.
Yep, it's a meatball made from a woolly mammoth.
I'm begging for you to bring up the meatball.
A company called Vow.
Vow, an Australian cultured meat startup,
used genetic information from an extinct animal.
And they took the DNA sequence from a mammoth muscle protein and filled in the gaps with cells from an elephant, the mammoth's closest living relative.
When replicated, it grew to 20 billion cells,
resulting in 14 ounces of meat.
It's actually starting a pretty important dialogue.
So why choose the mammoth, I guess?
Because mammoths are a symbol of diversity loss and climate change.
We need to find a more humane and sustainable way to grow meat.
We can't continue to eat the way that we have, and we have to find alternatives.
We actually made a mammoth meatball.
¿Qué tal una albóndiga de mamut lanudo?
أردنا أن نجعل الناس متحمسين.
Hakbal van mammoetvlees.
A woolly mammoth taste.
You like to eat a woolly mammoth.
This meatball is made out of extinct mammoth meat.
Rarely grown cultured meat from the cells of a woolly mammoth.
Would you eat a woolly mammoth meat?
Placed it in myoblast stem cells from a sheep.
Would you eat a meatball made from mammoth?
20 billion cells.
It's definitely a bit unique.
Instead of killing an animal.
Instead, more sustainable.
You guys try
meat from the cells.
Prehistoric meat. I would eat the meatball.
DNA found.
They recreated.
It's a mammoth meatball, so it would be a miss of us to make it straight.
Who's craving a prehistoric meal?
The future of modern food.
They achieved what they wanted to.
They did.
We're talking about their mammoth meatball.
Yes.
So just to wrap everything up, don't forget I started with POSMs in Pitești, Romania, a super small town. And I was this kid, and then I got to bring mammoths back, so to be eaten, but I brought them back. So thank you very much. Hit me up on Instagram or on mail if you want to talk, and I really appreciate your time and attention.
Oh, come on, Sandra. That was an amazing presentation, wasn't it? And you have no idea how happy. Yes, a huge round of applause. You have no idea how happy I am to be able to share a stage with someone who, in their presentation, brought up friends, beer, and Winnie the Pooh. So, to finish your presentation with a quote from Winnie the Pooh, I'm just going to say that it is so much more fun to talk with someone who doesn't use difficult and long words and rather uses short, easy words, such as, for example, what about lunch? So I'm going to rephrase it and say, what about a break? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a huge round of applause for Sandra